New World's had its ups and downs, and lately it's been a lot more down than up. Are you wondering, with the new information, the dev blog, and the roadmap, are you wondering if New World is saved and if it's going to get back to its previous glory? Well, I'm going to try to help answer that question in this video. All right, let's get started. All right, are you thinking about coming back to New World, or are you just wondering if you're playing a game that is going to die? Well, we are going to talk about whether I think New World is saved, and it's really going to be predicated on this roadmap you see here in front of you. Now, if you want to know where I got this from their Twitter account, but it was basically from a dev blog that they put out every month. If you haven't watched it, it's really good. It's going to go into detail about things that have happened, are happening, and going to happen in the future. And this is where we got this. Well, I don't know if I don't think they technically showed it there, but the last one they said they were going to have it, and then they put this up on the Twitter, and it makes me really excited. And honestly, this is what predicated this video. Now, if you haven't played New World in a while, we're going to give you a really short TLDR of what has happened and what is going to happen in this next update. It's going to be really quick, I promise. So most of the people left about a month after launch. What's happened since then is they had this expertise system, which they had in the game, but you really didn't see it, which is the way you upgrade your gear. From what I hear, it's very similar to Destiny. They've made a lot of ways for you to speed up that process. They've made things you can do every day to speed up that process. Once you get everything to 600, there's an umbral system that you can get from either doing stuff out in the world, doing stuff in PvP as an OPR, and you have mutated dungeons, which are the 3 top dungeons in the game, which are Lazarus, Genesis, and Dynasty. They have mutated versions of them. There's one every week. They are harder. They give you these things called umbral shards and a lot of rewards when you do the dungeons. Those are going to help you progress your weapon from 600 to 625. I'm not going to go into how to do it, what's the best way to do it, but just know that the new cap is 625. But if you're doing PvP, there's not a big difference between 600 and 625. And realistically, you're going to get your weapon to 620 and you're basically going to be done. It is not worth the amount of shards to get to 625. It is 1 base damage, which I think I did the percentages like 5% damage and like 1/4 of a percentage point in actual like perk points. So it's completely not worth it from the standpoint of doing it, but it is kind of cool to get your weapon there. And especially if you're going to do mutators, you do have to do it. And then they put in a lot of quality of life stuff. I'm not going to go over all of it because it would take up if it's an entire own video, but they've been coming out with a ton of quality of life stuff. And that is the thing they've been pounding home. They've been doing stuff that we've been asking for. We're getting like storages where you can transfer stuff from any storage into any town. They're doubling storage containers. So if it has 200, now it has 400. All this stuff, it is great. A lot of it's coming in this patch, and a lot of it has came in the previous patch. This newest patch is bringing a lot of quality of life stuff. It's bringing the blunderbuss, which is a new weapon, which is unlike any other weapon in the game by far. It is so completely different. We get a new expedition and a lot of, like I said, other quality of life stuff. Now, after that is what the unknown. We don't know when exactly they're coming, but from what we were told, we know the next month in April is going to be a PvP bug fixes. Now, having said that, the last time they did this, they completely overhauled how dodging works. You can now block cancel things, and it was a great update. Now, there are still some desync issues in the game, which is what I really hope April does, is they really fix some of the bugs that are happening with the game, and making sure, getting rid of that desync, and getting ready for this next patch right here between 3v3 arenas and this expedition group finder. I think that's what they really need to be gearing towards. Now, why do you say that? Is because they need to have crossed server queues. They said it is coming. They don't know when it's going to come. They don't want to put it under a specific thing. They don't want to say summer, and if it's done in spring, then they have to wait till summer to release it. They just said they're working on it. They want to give it to us as soon as it's ready. So that's what we're hoping. We can't wait to get those. And as you can see here, PvP arenas. This is the one thing that I have been waiting for. Now, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what kind of set it's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be capture the flag, team deathmatch, a bunch of everything. If there's going to be 1 arena, 5 arenas, 10 arenas, how big, how small, we don't know. But I am super excited for 3v3. I love this small type of gameplay. It'll be interesting to see with a 3v3 what the meta shapes up with. Obviously, healer's going to be really OP, but we'll have to see if we can find ways around it. And then we have the summer, and to be completely honest, this is where I see the most of the law coming in. Honestly, there's not much here. We have Barnacles and Black Powder Expedition. We have a summer event, which we don't know what it is. We have an Expedition Group Finder. If you are planning to come back in the summertime, I would wait to see what content is out there unless you're really into PvP and just exploring the new dungeons. If you're coming back and you haven't played since a month in, maybe you've never played Gen or Laz, which that's 2 dungeons you haven't played. You can play the Mutators of Gen, Laz, and Dynasty. Dynasty is basically a completely new dungeon when you do it on Mutator. And then you'll have the Tempest Heart Expedition, which we've done, which is really cool. And then you'll have the Black Powder, or Barnacles and Black Powder Expeditions with the Mutators for both of these dungeons. So it's going to be really cool. I think the summer's really, for me, going to be predicated on PvP arenas. In the summer event, I really did like the winter event. It got a little monotonous there towards the end, but I really enjoyed just wandering around, doing random stuff. So I think the summer, which could be the worst part of this year, because there's not a whole lot coming out there that we know of, at least according to this, but could really be predicated on that summer event, how good it is. Now, what this video was made about was this autumn right here. This is massive. If you watch some of my other videos talking about, you know, how I think they're going to do gearing and stuff like that, and why they're just shooting everybody up with a bunch of Umbral Shards, I think this is why right here. If you don't know, the Brimstone Sands territory is, from what I've heard, about the same size as New World already. It might not be quite that big, but it's about its size of a continent and just not a territory. It's not just like Monarch's Bluff size. It's a lot bigger. Now, I think with this, we're going to get a gear score upgrade. We're going to go past 650 or 625. I'm thinking 650 or 700. And I think we're going to get a little bit of a revamp of the crafting or how you're going to be obtaining gear. I don't know this. I have absolutely no insider information, but I think that's what it's going to be. They're, in my opinion, the Umbral Shards they're putting into the economy is kind of giving everybody a catch-up mechanic, because it is so hard to get gear in the game. It is probably one of the most brutal parts of the game, is getting the exact perks you need on your gear. So I think the Umbral Shards is kind of like helping you get to the point where you're going to be able to go into the Brimstone Stands really easy with your 625 gear. Then we have a new expedition, which is going to be there. And one of my things I've been waiting for, I love great swords. I love great swords. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the great sword. I will be on the PTR the first minute it is up playing this great sword. We're going to have leaderboards. We said this is going to be for PvE and PvP, which I think is something that needs to happen in the game, because with this, gives people something to strive for. It gives people something to look forward to and continue to play your game. And then we have 2 events, which is the Halloween event and Turkulon. Now, of course, you coming back to the game, and like I said, it's really predicated on autumn. I mean, I'm really excited for this new event coming, not this new event, but the new patch coming out here in March. It's got a lot of stuff that I like. I'm gonna level up the blunderbuss. We have double XP stuff coming up. So if you're, you know, maybe like, I didn't really like the leveling process, watch out, because after the blunderbuss comes out, they're going to have a double XP weekend where you get double XP for your weapons or for your leveling. And I cannot wait specifically for this autumn event. I know I'm kind of skipping around here a little bit, but this video was predicated on this autumn event because I think this is going to make or break New World. It is no, you know, it's no surprise that I love the game. I love the game since I played it in beta. I wasn't actually a big fan of it in alpha. They made some changes and I've loved it in beta. And I have my problems with it. They don't bug fix very well sometimes. There's more bugs in the game than probably should be when you launch a patch, even over some other games. And there's some things they need to work on, but the quality of life and the amount of stuff they're listening to the player base is probably better than any game that I've ever played. If they can get the bugs under control, if we have no more stupid duping bugs, and they can start releasing patches that aren't, you know, don't have big bugs, which is going to be the biggest test, because if you haven't played in a while, the patch that is coming up in March is the biggest patch they've ever released, in my opinion. There are so many tweaks to the just core game mechanics. There's the Tempest Heart Expedition. There's the new weapon. It is the biggest patch they've come out with, and we're going to find out if the dev team is taking strides when it comes to bugs and stuff like that. This is going to be a big test because there wasn't that many people testing on the PTR. So we're going to see how their QA people are when it comes to bug fixes and testing out their product. So really at the end here, I'm going to say, yes, I think it is worth. I think if you watch a lot of the YouTube channels that have been covering New World, they've been talking about New World's trajectory has been going up. They've been doing a lot of quality of life stuff that people, have been wanting. They've added so much stuff to the leveling. The leveling has completely changed essentially from the way it was. Now, do you level essentially the same way? Yes, they've taken out some stuff that were bad for leveling. They've added in a bunch of like unique rewards and dynamic events and more legendary mobs and more legendary weapons for you to get as you're leveling, that it's going to feel a lot better than it did when we had it launched. It's going to be faster. They made it faster, especially through the mid levels. I imagine when they went back and looked at their stats, they found that a lot of people stopped playing around the levels between like 20 and 40. And they've really made those specific levels a lot better, and really the levels throughout the process a lot better, because you're going to be able to get stuff just so much easier right now than you ever have in New World. And mind you, the crafting and getting your best in slot stuff is still incredibly hard, but even then they've made it easier since launch. So yes, New World is on the up. Are they completely saved? I'm going to say, obviously, I don't know, because I think it really relies on the autumn event. When autumn comes around with the new territory, it's pretty much what they've been gearing towards since the player base started to leave. And once we have the Brimstone Sands, I think its game is going to be hopefully in a ton better spot. And I think they are heading that way. The amount of changes this development team is willing to do so quickly is just really is way better than any game I've ever played. The change that how fast they do it now, is it buggier than most places, most games? Yeah, of course. But they're willing to change. They don't, other than maybe the orb system, which they're talking about sort of getting rid of it. They're keeping it, but maybe getting some like extra rewards if you use it. They've been willing to come off a lot of their systems, and they're just making the game overall better. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I know you guys are going to, but let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Is New World saved? Is it going to be saved? Are you going to come back and play, or are you never coming back? And I know a lot of you guys that are watching this video are playing right now. You're probably on your server, or maybe you're just sitting there waiting for some Orichalcum to spawn up and you're just watching random New World videos. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I soon will see you in a tournament, hopefully. Bye.